such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. We want to deal with the issue of critical race theory. This year, the Southern Baptists passed a resolution pertaining to that. Here's what it says: whereas critical race theory and intersectionality alone are insufficient to diagnose and redress the root causes of the social ills that they identify, which result from sin, yet these analytical tools can aid in evaluating a variety of human experiences. Analytical tool. When I read that, I was kind of thrown off because I was like, wait a minute, that's not what I understood the critical race theory. Not analytical tools, theory. And so I had to dig a little bit just to make sure I was remembering correctly. Encyclopedia Britannica has as its definition of critical race theory, if you look closely there, I don't want to read through it all, it says that it functions as a means to maintain the interests of the white population. The whites maintaining in the elite white the interest, and it creates circumstances that give rise to poverty and criminality within many minority communities. Go and look it up. Encyclopedia Britannica, their online version. It's a theory that says white uses the society and its laws to keep its superiority. And oh, by the way, this thinking from whites causes all sorts of problems in the minority community, such as poverty and criminality. No, it's not the blacks' fault when they rob other blacks. It's whites' fault because of this critical race theory says because of the oppressing white community. That's what I understood the critical race theory to say. And then I looked up the Wikipedia. Okay, Wikipedia. You can see it there. It's a theoretical framework in the social sciences that uses critical theory to examine society and culture as they relate to categorizations of race, law, and power. Again, it seems to be to me a theory. White supremacy by the law, you can see in there. And if you see at the bottom, it says pursues a project of achieving racial emancipation. Racial emancipation. Emancipation means freed from slavery. Racial emancipation is a fancier way of saying freedom because you're a slave. That doesn't sound like analytical tools. To me, it sounds like an ideology to where the white community oppresses minorities. And somehow it is unfair and we have to think about it in a new way. Tom Askell, when writing about this, he says this: but the reality is that neither critical race theory nor intersectionality are simply tools. They are indeed ideologies that have arisen out of a neo-Marxist postmodern worldviews and are used by many to promote those worldviews today. The fact that it is called critical race theory indicates that it is not simply a tool of analysis. Do they contain insights that are true and helpful? Yes, I concede that. But to suggest that they are merely tools of analysis is misleading at best and deceptive at worst. I agree with Pastor Askell in this. It's a neo-Marxist post-ist worldview. It's a worldview. It's a theory. That's what it is. But he concedes that there are some insights that can be gained from this. I need help. I need help in that area. He probably knows more than me. I need help because I don't see where it's an analytical tool at all. It's a theory. It's a theory. Derek Bell, one of the founders of critical race theory. You can't look up critical race theory and his name not pop up as a founder. He gives an interview about his book. And look at what he says when talking about the issues of race.
many of those who held the original dream of integration, both racially and certainly gender-wise, have been very troubled by that, have opposed it. Some organizations have gone into court to actually halt programs. Well, I think that is at least mischievous and perhaps more dangerous than that, because it is not allowing a potentially effective procedure to even be tried. And we can repeat that example in many other areas of the civil rights struggle. To continue in the same way, I think is a mistake. That if you ask me, well, what should we be doing differently? I can't give you a blueprint. If I could, I would have written a better book than Faces at the Bottom of the Well. But I can say that once we adopt a different outlook with regard to the causes of racism, how we deal with it, I think then that individuals, particularly in their own areas of education or employment or whatever it is, will be able to fashion ideas that make more sense in our present world.
Did you get it? Listen closely. Did you get it? He says that what we're doing today when it pertains to certain aspects of integration, it's not working. It's not working. He said, if you ask me to give you a blueprint, I can't give you a blueprint. I can't tell you specifically how to fix the problem of racism. But here's one thing I can tell you, that if we think differently and we put aside the old things that have been tried and try new ones, then we will come up with things that will work in the future. Well, first of all, how do you know that's true? If you can't give a blueprint, how do you know that whatever comes up in the future will work? That's one. Two, maybe we're not ready to describe what we really want to bring about now. But that's neither here nor there. One thing that's clear, I don't see the analytical tools. It is a thought process. It is a theory in which I, and my humble opinion, the oppressors oppress, the oppressed need to be liberated, oppressors bad, the oppressed good no matter what they do. And for the life of me, why the Southern Baptist Convention is playing around with this critical race theory is mind-boggling to me. My next video is going to talk about what happens when you embrace this concept of critical race theory. What happens practically? And it's dangerous.
For such a time as this.